You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I am genuinely curious about what the reaction of everybody is going to be to the news yesterday that I thought that was glossed over a little bit. Rudy Gobert became a Hall of Famer yesterday. You win 4 of those things, you get in the Hall of Fame.
No question. Yeah.
You say no question, and I'm like, Rudy Gobert, Hall of Famer. I mean, I know that
it's a different Hall of Fame.
I know it's a
Make
different
an exemption just this one time because nobody likes him. Has so many things working against him. He started COVID. He's French.
We made the argument on the show yesterday that the Timberwolves are better off without him.
He's going to end up in the Hall of Fame, and I don't care how diminished the Basketball Hall of Fame is. I still am jarred.
What's worse, betting on your own sport or ruining everybody's lives for 2.5 years?
Or missing a game because you had a kid.
It's up there.
Yep.
He's no Brandon Carlo.
And as an added bonus, rare is the Hall of Famer that very often during games as the sport evolves just gets taken off of the court for long stretches of time. That usually doesn't happen to the Hall of Famers at the height of their powers. But as Stugotz said while moaning over headsets that were on the floor and with a bad back that made it very difficult to get up, what a night on the ice.
It was magical, Dano.
This sport. 2 OTs, 2 games. They gave 3 OTs, actually.
Yes.
Oh.
2 in the Rangers game.
More OTs and games.
How many people out there were confused when a tied overtime Rangers game all of a sudden with 30 seconds left as everyone is very excited, the broadcast goes to another pregame show.
Oops.
How many of you?
Stars game. It was the start.
They went to the Stars game. There was about maybe a minute or so left in regulation in the Rangers game, and they left the Rangers game to go to the Stars game, and I thought the Ranger game went to ESPNU, so I went to ESPNU, and the Stars game was there as well.
Which would have been a curious decision with 30 seconds left on the running clock.
Yes.
I'm gonna power through this one. No, fine. So 30 seconds left on a running clock. Me and about 15 of my closest hosers, we go to a local watering hole, and we are just maniacs about this sport. And
Billy, why are you making that face?
Your closest what?
Hosers.
Is that a hockey thing?
It's a Canadian phrase.
Yeah, it's not very flattering, but whatever. We're puckheads. So we go to our favorite hockey bar. It's about 15 of us, and I'm telling you, these fellas are on a rampage.
I need to stop everything that's happening here because whatever you think Mike Ryan is with soccer insanity, with basketball insanity, and with University of Miami insanity, hockey Mike Ryan is 15 people in a bar yelling at a television when the game is tied with 30 seconds left and the television is going to another broadcast.
Hosers, just a hostile takeover of a bar. People using hockey gloves as koozies. It was, it was a movie. But, and we just like joy. We want people to find their joy. We want points. We want goals. We like the overs. We like the player props. Maybe a little side action on the Carolina Hurricanes. That's a tough L. But generally, we just want a good game. And we were being treated to an amazing game, courtesy of the New York Rangers and Carolina Hurricanes. And with 30 seconds left on a running clock and the game in the balance, they decided to go to the pregame coverage. A big mess up over by ESPN production. However, we also had the over in Dallas, so we weren't necessarily super mad about it. We were just confused.
Mike, I will tell you this. The Rangers had no business winning that game last night. Carolina dominated play. They did, but that's what hockey's all about.
Yep.
You just need one.
And that series ain't over. Series ain't over. One bit.
I want to go back to the hosers for a second. It's a Canadian phrase. Was the Smothers Brothers? I think are the ones who introduced me to it as a Canadian insult.
Are they on TikTok?
I don't know whether they invented it or not.
Brothers.
That's funny.
Wikipedia says Rick Moranis is the one on SCTV who popularized it. But it means and I will get this specific for you, a foolish or uncultivated person.
Yeah. No, checks.
I mean, that's hockey fans.
Yeah, that checks out.
That's hockey fans in a bar. Wait a minute. I shouldn't say it's all hockey fans. It's hockey fans who drink beer from a koozie 15 deep in a bar. That's hoser.
It was the koozie was a hockey glove. Yeah, it was an important detail. You just hand the hockey glove around. Yeah. Take a swig. Oh, man, what a night. What a night. And then we had another game after that Rangers-Carolina game. And I'm very, very glad to see the nation is actually supporting this. This sport is truly growing, and it shows the power of ESPN. This sport barely survived the 2 lockouts and being stuck on Versus and not getting mainstream attention. For it to finally get mainstream attention, Pat McAfee's been such a great ally for the sport. They're getting close to NBA playoff numbers.
The ratings are very good, and JuJu, in basketball, one of the things basketball suffers from that hockey doesn't because of where offense has gone is the games last night aren't interesting. You don't have to watch these 20 and 30-point games, and I'm really genuinely curious because I don't remember the Warriors doing what the Celtics are doing, where they just stack throughout the game. And I know they're playing against Cleveland and Miami in their lower seeds, but they've been doing it all season where they just go, they're up 9 now, they're up 18, they're up 27, they're up 35, and the game's never going to get close. They're going to just keep grinding your face into the ground, and it makes the games uninteresting. They're not the hockey games. You can tune out of both of those games last night, and you didn't miss anything. What the Sixers and the Knicks gave us and what the Knicks and the Pacers gave us, that's a rarity. Like even the Minnesota-Denver games aren't close. Like we're surprised by the results, but we're looking at it and it's not dramatic games.
The Celtics are overwhelming. They've had 20-point leads in half of their games this year. Like that's crazy. Think about that.
We've been sounding the klaxon for what's going on with this sport. I genuinely think, not unlike baseball, analytics has kind of gamed the system and cracked the game in ways that aren't necessarily pleasing to viewers. And look, we got a deep Knicks playoff run here, and generally the NBA playoffs are down. Knicks games are doing well, but they're buoyed by this Knicks run, and the arrow's not pointing up. It's not flat. It's pointing down. And sports everywhere are up.
Well, but you say pointing down, and these TV rights, Stugotz, and we'll talk about this with David Sampson later. There was a miscalculation by the folks at TNT not understanding what's happening in the competitive streaming space. And so when I think it was Zaslav, the CEO of CNN, of all of it, actually.
Of Max.
Of the whole thing. He ends up saying that they're not interested in renew, or they're not sure they're going to renew basketball. And as soon as that happens, Amazon's going to get games. Like, there is simply no way that Amazon will not get games.
Well, Amazon, their offer kind of leaked out yesterday. They're looking at $1.8 billion per season over 11 years. I mean, that's crazy.
But it's interesting what Mike Ryan is saying here, though, because I, too, was under the impression that for a lot of different reasons, I could have said but pre-streaming, I could have made the argument, basketball's going to a dangerous place. But because all that matters here isn't actually ratings. It's not. It's not even how many people you have in your arenas. It's just, can you get the TV money? The TV money is the rocket fuel for the entirety of the business, and nothing else matters. And the thing that I simply had not allowed for, Stugotz, and I don't think a lot of people saw this coming, because it is an evolution that I would say that's over the last 5 or 6 years. I don't know that we've had a lot of visionaries. Basketball's going to get bailed out. The business of basketball is going to get bailed out because they have legitimate problems, but you don't have legitimate problems if you've got a sugar daddy that's giving you billions and billions of dollars, and now there's a bidding war for these rights. Everybody seems to want them, even though it ain't hockey, man. The basketball playoffs, what it is so far, you can be interested in the games. You can have passion about the games, but the way the games are going aren't luring you in. And when you're in the close ones and all you're doing is yelling about the referees and the 2-minute report and the refs are deciding the end of the game instead of the players, like you have an entertainment problem.
Yes, 100%. But while they're going through this entertainment problem, like you said, the timing couldn't be better, because you have streaming services paying a premium for the association with the NBA. they're not necessarily paying for what the product is now, the ratings they're driving now. They want to be in the game. They want to be up. There it is.
Yeah.
They want to be legitimized by having this partnership. You automatically, my understanding is that Turner can match the deal, but these are getting to crazy prices, and you genuinely
I'm not certain Turner would want to match that deal.
Yeah, because it's getting to an insane
ridiculous,
place. But
yes.
if you're Amazon, you already have the NFL. You want to legitimize yourself as a destination that sports fans have to go to. If you want to follow sports, you need Amazon Prime. You can just microwave a sports juggernaut by not just acquiring the NBA, but what happens to Turner's studio shows that the league loves? What happens to all of that if there is no sport to cover? Well, if I'm Amazon, I'd say everybody in Atlanta, you stay right there. We go from Turner to Amazon. We're immediately a legitimate entity. We have shoulder programming already there. I mean, the studio coverage is almost more popular than the sports sometimes.
In other streaming news, Boomer Esiason said on WFAN this morning that he would not be surprised, and we should not be surprised, if the NFL sells its Christmas games to Netflix.
I think, correct me if I'm incorrect on this.
That's Boomer, Dan.
It's a big story, Dan.
The
WFAT. I mean.
The WNBA tip-off is going to be on Disney Plus, correct? So if you want to see Caitlin Clark's first game, you're not going to be able to see that on regular television. You're going to have to subscribe to that. As on the day, Stugotz, that we find out that the women are now getting chartered flights, that they don't have to do this primitive.
Well, that's nice.
It is nice, but now that you see the economy,
We'll do MLS next.
the economy of this is changing.
Yes.
But tonight, if you want to watch Caitlin Clark, you're either going to get highlights for free or you're going to have to pay for Disney Plus. And Stugotz, I will tell you that Disney had a very good quarterly earnings, overachieved in every single way because of how aggressively Disney is going into streaming as something that can help save the business.
Caitlin Clark's game will also be on ESPN2. So it's Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and ESPN2.
So
it'll be in all of those places.
Okay, so it's not exclusive to Disney Plus.
Correct.
No.
Okay.
But live sports on Disney Plus is a change.
It is a change, but I don't know why anybody would go there if you don't make them go there by denying them the access on free television.
But forgive me for not knowing this, but it's a preseason game, right?
No, this will be on May 14th when the
season
season kicks off for her.
But, Dan, I think some people have bailed on cable television, meaning they don't have ESPN2 anymore, so they'll get it on Disney+.
They found a way to get our money. This is ridiculous.
They always do.
I'm a sports fan. I can't not have one of the streaming services now because they're all going to have live sports. I'm going to have to still have cable so I can watch the games that are just exclusive behind that paywall that are integrated inside the app. So not only am I paying for cable, I can't cut the cord, and now I'm just going to every single streaming service. It's insane.
And you also have to watch FBI.
Can you explain to me, Jeremy, how it is that this is working with Disney Plus? Have they ever had a live sporting event on Disney Plus?
This will be the first non-animated live sporting event on Disney Plus.
Remember the Toy Story game?
Yeah, don't forget the Toy Story game.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
Took a little bit, but they found their way.
They didn't cut to the stars.
But fascinating to launch with this.
Remember?
Folks, Mother's Day is around the corner, and let me talk to you about 1-800-Flowers. I can't wait. Every year, it's a tradition. I send stuff to my mother, my mother-in-law, and my wife because they are three amazing moms. They're better than all your moms out there. You think you have good moms? No, I have good moms in my life. I'm just kidding. This was a little harsh. I'm sure you guys all have good moms too. From your mom to the mother of your children and all the moms in between, this Mother's Day, give back to the ones that have given you everything. 1-800-Flowers helps you celebrate all amazing moms, from homemade bouquets, sweet treats, gourmet food, and one-of-a-kind gifts, ordered easily and delivered fresh. For a limited time, you can save up to 40% off Mother's Day bestsellers at 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan. Don't wait. Order today and save up to 40% at 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan.
Hey guys, it's Tony. I am very, very, very excited about the NBA playoffs. They have been incredible so far. Taylor, producer on the show, thanks to Game Time, took a 28-hour train ride to a Knicks game. Talking to Taylor, it was an awesome time going to the game, feeling the energy of the Garden, and I really want to get out there to watch a game in the Garden. And you know how I do it? Of course, the best ticket app on the planet, Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, which is a technology I love, by the way. Game Time has tons of last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, use code DAN, D-A-N, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN, D-A-N, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Don Le Batard.
Our Panther group chat, we're confident against the Lightning. This is a different team.
Yeah. You're a Panther group chat, though.
No, I think but dude, you're so wrong on that. We've been terrified of this team forever, and I think there's a different energy where the Panthers, they want the Lightning.
Stugotz.
I want T-shirts made for this Panther run. What could be this Panther run? Our Panther group chat, we're not afraid of the Lightning.
That's a tagline for World War 3.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Let me go back to something that was said by Mike here about the NBA studio show. You've heard me say it's the greatest sports studio show in the history of sports studio shows. And he said sometimes it's more popular than the games. And it is really interesting to watch these people who are all over 50 years old still dominate even the new technology landscape, because what they've figured out, and this is rare, and it's where one of the many ways they're ahead of the game, because of attention deficit disorder, because sometimes the games aren't enough, because everyone's addicted to social media and needs more and more action, you're basically televising a 4, 5, 6 hour radio show with these guys who like hanging out with each other and have more room to work than any of these other studio shows that are just showing you at every turn very consistently. We're just here to get to the next commercial. We're just here to take you to the next commercial. Here's Stephen A. Smith. Here's Michael Wilbon. Here's to say it in 20 seconds, get out of here. And there's not room for friendship and laughter and bits and Kenny's falling down and Charles is being Charles. They are so far ahead of the game because what they're doing, the games are incidental. Mm-hmm. Like, they can use the games for content, but you're not there all night with them for 4 and 5 and 6 hours waiting for LeBron to get out of the shower. You're not there for primarily the information, because I don't believe that the way basketball is being covered right now, that's where you're getting the best basketball information.
Yeah,
you're not. You're getting entertainment.
I mean, Shaq explained today's game. It doesn't really compute with me. But for me, like, Turner's studio coverage, both on the NBA and NHL side, it's replaced what Conan used to be for me. This is my late night talk show. These guys, and it's just a frame. The game is an excuse to get to know these great ensembles. Turner has cracked the code, often imitated, never replicated.
One of the interesting things about it, I think, Stugotz, the high wire act of live television that Netflix is now also trying to get into, because John Mulaney is doing something very strange on Netflix. I told you what was happening this weekend, where you've got Cat Williams basically. Shannon Sharpe now has the most viewed interview in the history of YouTube. It surpassed Joe Rogan's Elon Musk interview. And in doing so, he's given Cat Williams has given Cat Williams an enormous career resurgence as a comedian and a grinder, so much so that he's mentioning Shannon Sharpe in the first 2 sentences of his special, because Cat Williams has never been this. He went on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay and ended up making the internet record for views, because he basically, whether he's nuts or not, he told an awful lot of truth that people do not tell in public spaces.
Is that the clinical term?
That is correct. That's exactly right. And he ends up with a live special on Saturday night, then you go Tom Brady and the roast on Sunday night, and then you've got all of comedy is in Los Angeles for the Netflix Is a Joke week, and John Mulaney does a super strange show because he's just got the power to do it as one of the best stand-ups. They've given him a show, and he's making it as weird as possible.
It's the strangest late-night TV show that technically has the structure of your typical late-night show where he starts with a monologue, but the monologue is just making fun of L.A. The whole thing is called Everybody's in L.A. And so it starts there, but then he brings in a combination of guests that will throw you off given the topic of that night. So one night it was palm trees was the topic he wanted to focus on. So he brought on an expert in that and Jon Stewart. Last night it was helicopters. So he brought on the first helicopter journalist, Zoe Tur, along with Nate Bargatze and Earthquake. And he has conversations with all of these people that make no sense.
Right, I have the exact
He's just exploring his
weird on
curiosities.
purpose. Yes.
It's weird on purpose and awkward and uncomfortable.
It's late night. You want weird. I mean,
It's so strange.
Eric Andre would like a word, though.
Well, totally. But it is so weird the way that he's exploring these curiosities and then with a total non sequitur going into a different question for Bargatze. He'll talk about helicopters and the OJ chase and be like, so, Nate Bargatze, you really like candy? And it just sits there awkwardly, and they toss to strange interviews. It is so uncomfortable knowing that it's live. It's that high wire act that makes it so good.
Coyotes, I think, was one of
that was the first one.
Subjects. That,
Coyotes.
With Jerry Seinfeld.
Tell me, Bron on Roenick.
So helicopter journalists, I was confused at first. The people that are like the videographers
in the helicopter.
Okay,
yeah.
I was confused.
That was?
I was confused that it was a profession. I was like,
John Stossel's just close to you?
No,
traffic reporters.
There's someone that wrote about helicopters. Like there was a helicopter newsletter in there, and there's people just wrote
weird
about
beat. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, there's more than one person whose job it is to write about helicopters. Like, why is this a thing?
And the show had this journalist and then brought on Marcia Clark to speak with the journalist.
What?
It was amazing.
But you now understand what it is to be the first helicopter journalist, correct? You are hovering over the freeway chasing O.J. Simpson.
I mean, videographers, journalists.
Well,
that's a debate for another day.
She was a journalist who told the story that they used to before helicopters because she bought her own helicopter to do this. That was how it started. She bought her own helicopter
to chase the news.
To chase the news in LA because traffic was so bad. And what she said is that they used to impersonate cops or ambulances to get to wherever the crimes were, which is just admitting to a crime.
That's a crime.
It's a crime. But then they bought a helicopter.
But a heady play, as described by Stugotz. What you put it on the poll?
Got to get the story, Dan. I mean,
put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is what you would call a crime to Stugotz a heady play? Because I think that's pretty consistent. I need to.
I've always wanted one of those sirens. You could just reach outside your window, slap on the top of your car, turn it on, and just drive through traffic.
Like a Joe Friday?
Yes.
You could buy one. There's nothing stopping you.
Really?
I want to get to a literal heady play from last night in hockey, but before I do that, I just want to speak for the listeners here, Stugotz, who have written in because yesterday in a take that you have not refurbished, you've got a couple of takes that haven't actually been updated by you in the files. You haven't updated the software, and so you blurted yesterday because you have this habit. It's a bit of Tourette's take of yours that horse racing is dead.
Yeah.
But you did that after the Derby had its biggest rating since 1989.
I don't care.
Well, can I get through the numbers on how you're wrong
Apologies.
first before?
That was rude.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I know you're going. I
said sorry.
I know you're not going to update the software, Stugotz. I know that you're not going to add any information that's going to change your opinion on horse racing is dead. But what you are going to get is the flogging of facts. That the Kentucky Derby sold out 160,000 seats, and on top of that, did its biggest number, 17 million, since 1989, at a time when you weren't saying that horse racing is dead. You were not in 1989 when you were.
It was still alive.
When you were on the Hank Goldberg show, and you were talking about horse racing a lot back then.
I had no choice.
So this number was bigger than any of the numbers in the last 30 years.
But that's misleading because the Kentucky Derby isn't event. Like, you watch it because it's the Kentucky Derby, not because you care about horse racing.
And that was the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby.
You think that's why? Like, normally I would skip
that and the
this,
gambling.
but
It's
it's
Centennial 0.5, yeah.
Sports are all up pretty much across the board
I
because of
understand that.
sports gambling.
Right, but let me know how 151, 152, 153, 154, 167. Let me know how those go, you know?
Go to Calder on a Tuesday afternoon. We'll see how vibrant horse racing
Challenge
is.
accepted.
Bingo. You watched horse racing because you wanted to see if a horse could win the Triple Crown. Well, a horse has done that recently, so therefore horse racing is dead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know the numbers suggest otherwise.
You were quite
But I don't
literally
care.
beating a dead horse. You're literally beating a dead horse.
No, that's in California.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. Horse racing is dead. I know the numbers say otherwise. If that's not where we are in general, arguing facts in America,
folks.
like that's it right there. Like I know what you think, all those facts, but I've got my opinion, and that's gonna win here. You're gonna give me more facts? Okay, I'm gonna stay right where I am.
Now imagine how entertaining it would be if Stugotz were to debate that fact against Marcia Clark.
I think we need to see the Preakness numbers before we can assess whether or not horse racing is dead.
Well, I don't think the Derby horse is racing in the Preakness.
Oh, I mean,
to my point.
We're doing load management in this sport too?
Ridiculous.
Heavens.
It's horseshit.
Secretariat's rolling over in his grave.
Hey.
Is he dead?
Is he a he?
I don't know.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Don Batard.
Who is the comedian? Is it James Mulvaney? How do you pronounce his?
John Mulaney?
There you go. Thank you. John Mulaney is the
$2, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad fine. Wow. Everybody started shaking their head.
I mean, he's arguably the most popular comedian right now. James Mulvaney.
Stugotz.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is John Mulvaney the most popular columnist at Le Batard?
Oh, my God. Comedian, Dan. Jesus, get it together.
Excuse me. Comedian. My bad.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
A couple of funny baseball things I wanted to get to. A couple of days ago, we were talking about closer entrances and Duran in Minnesota, how he comes in to the lights being turned off and everyone waving the lights on their phones. And the Oakland A's have a closer, Stugotz, who throws 104 miles an hour. Okay, Mason Miller is their closer, and he's great. And he said when they asked him, because of everything going on in Oakland, if you're not paying attention, there are nights when they don't seem to have 2,000 people in the ballpark. And he was asked why he doesn't have a big entrance, and his quote was, the lights might not come back on.
That's what we were talking about yesterday. Me and Greg longing for the day that stadium lights went off and it'd take 15 minutes to turn back on.
But the A's might have, the A's might have the electricity cut because they can't, they can't pay for it. Like the Oakland A's are playing in real life in the major leagues. They're playing out the movie Major League, where they're probably getting into dirty whirlpools because their facilities aren't quite major league.
Cold water in the shower. I can't wait for the oral history of the Oakland Coliseum, Oakland A's years. But you mentioned Major League, and it might actually be playing out the same way because they're a lot better than people assumed. They're only 4 games back of the division with the expanded wild card. They could actually make summer interesting, and what a cool experience that would be in their final year in that godforsaken stadium. It's exactly like the movie.
I spent all of last season betting for them to lose by more than a run, and it was profitable. It worked.
Have you switched to the Marlins?
I have.
Speaking of the Marlins, last night they were underestimated. Let's go out to some video and some sound from the MLB network here. Yamamoto is opening for the Dodgers. They're sort of laughing at the Marlins, and Yamamoto is capable of shutting anyone down. And here's the analysis as they lead into the game.
Don't take this the wrong way, but we are already a no-hitter alert. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, before he throws a single pitch tonight against the Marlins, we have a no-hitter alert. Okay. Enjoy what could be a no-hitter from Yamamoto.
You know Jazz swing your first pitch.
Right here on MLB Network for Harold. See why I'm Greg. We have a no-hitter alert.
Bethancourt, first pitch, swinging. Jazz with a high fly ball. Deep right center field, and the Marlins are on the board first.
First pitch of the game.
Wasting no time.
Didn't we say about the stars coming out in Hollywood?
We showed them. I mean,
8-2 final.
You give up a grand slam in the bottom of the first.
Who won?
First pitch of the game, though, when you put everyone on no-hitter alert?
That's great. That's how you promote a game coming up on your network.
Yep.
But as Stugotz said, while moaning and having difficulty getting up over some headsets that were on the floor, what a night on the ice.
What a night on the ice!
Amazing, man.
Can we talk about a game? Can we break down a game? Because this double
I want
OT
that
game,
heady play.
The heady play, a literal heady play. Jacob Trouba should probably get suspended for this. So there was a lot of moments in this game that felt like a fever dream. Oh, you think you're watching the end of an overtime, but then you're sent to Dallas for some godforsaken reason. And then this play that I also thought the TV was broken when I looked up at it because a player was stuck in the glass for a half a beat. So here in this play, you have Jacob Trouba looking to kill Martin Necas for the Carolina Hurricanes. He extends his elbow. He is looking to decapitate this Carolina Hurricane.
For those of you not watching, he lands like a dart.
Lawn darts straight into the glass, and for a half a beat is stuck in the glass. Completely horizontal. He should be suspended for this because he attempted to kill that man.
Parallel to the ice. He is, he's parallel to the ice with his helmet stuck in the glass.
Jacob Trouba has 6 penalties so far in 2 games. 6 penalties, and that one should have been a charging penalty.
He was also the first one up and then skated right off before the guy that slid onto the floor.
Yeah.
Well, because his knee hit his helmet. That's why Necas couldn't get
That
it.
would have Luka out for months. Jimmy Butler, months.
It spawned a bunch of great memes, but I don't know how you out-goon Matt Rempe in a series because Matt Rempe, I don't know if you're...
Can he fight?
Matt Rempe, and we have an image of Matt Rempe, so you can see if you're familiar with this guy's work. He's 6'7". His job is to be a goon, muddy stuff up in front of the net, and use every inch of that 6'7" frame. He also fancies himself an enforcer, but he's a terrible enforcer. He likes to fight all the time, but that face right there, that image, is a good example of how this usually goes for a guy who's 6'7", has all the reach in the world. Bad fighter.
That is a great comedy skit. The guy who goes through an NHL life thinking he's a goon, but he's no good at it.
He's also a rookie. He's done some things this season that has not been good in this league.
The Ranger fans love him, by the way.
Oh, he is
Yes.
the Rempire State. They love
Rempire State Building.
Yeah,
Yes.
they love this dude. He has become an icon.
What a name.
And I'm not really sure. He did score once in the playoffs, and it was unavoidable. Like, he has become a cult hero over there. There's Rempe jerseys everywhere. This guy is an immense star because he's playing in New York.
Tall.
He's just tall.
Yeah.
He's just tall. He likes to
tall.
fight, but he's not good at it. Short guys are kicking his ass left and right. But, look at that face. How can you not love him?
He's too tall to be hitting people. Every time he hits somebody about 5 inches shorter than he is, he ends up elbowing them in the face.
In all seriousness, though, Trouba's going to get suspended for that, right? Because the rule is intent.
Yeah.
Like, he has his elbow.
He intended to kill him.
That's intent to injure. That is suspendable.
The suspension should be for manslaughter.
But the end result was him getting lawn darted into the glass.
He'd have to be dead. This goes into that whole quacky doctor situation again.
This guy has wingspan, though. It's not height; it's wingspan. Rempe can be winning fights because of wingspan.
He's awful at fighting.
Yeah, and his hair keeps flying back because of the amount of fist that he's getting in the face.
He's got a wingspan, though. I'd tell you that.
Well, when he goes out there to fight, I would not want to fight him because in that sport with wingspan, they tend to pull your jersey up over your head, and they grab the side of you and keep you. He should win these fights with his wingspan.
He is. His whole defense is, I'm going to eat this punch with my face to set up my.
You think you can beat me? Watch my nose eat your fist.
But the thing is, it's not like he's got a great jaw either. His face becomes picadillo every time he gets into a fight. What? I love a good old-fashioned goon.
Oh, it's great.
But you got to be good at it. You can't.
He's good at being tall.
Debatable. Yeah.
He's very tall. He's 6'7". He's tall. There's no denying he's tall.
Stugotz, can we talk for a second about the Celtics, and instead of celebrating every moment of theirs as they drag people, because they've been a machine the entirety of the season. I believe that the people listening to this think that the only flaw that the Celtics have as a basketball team, and I'm telling you, Stugotz, I don't remember the 72-win Warriors winning specifically this way,
right?
Where the point differential was up here. It was close, but the point differential was up here, and all the games were just stacks of. Occasionally, they play a game in the 130s with Atlanta because they're just fooling around and it's close, but the games are 30 points, 20 points, and it's just consistently they throttle you and then just keep the lead. There's no back and forth.
No.
The Celtics, though, I believe their only flaw in perception is they better not play close ones. They better not be actually tested,
right?
And have at the end of games, it's not everyone gets to score, and this night it's going to be Derek White and Jaylen Brown. When everything gets cleared out, what's going to happen? Oh, it's going to be Tatum, and it's going to be a long jumper. That's what it's going to be when the games get close. Do they have another flaw? Because it is statistically one of the best teams we've ever seen, the way they win games. The difference between them and everyone else in the league.
I think that's the only flaw, like how they'll react. Big spot, close game. What will Tatum do? Tatum wasn't even good last night. The Celtics still won by 25 points. Derek White has been absolutely amazing. But
what a find. What a trade.
Amazing. But you ask yourself, when are they going to have close games? Who are they going to have close games against? And I'm afraid they're not going to have them until the NBA Finals. Like, maybe a close game or two with the Knicks, and that's about it. I mean,
do you guys find interesting the way that Tatum is covered?
I do. I think it's interesting because he's sort of gotten in his young career the opposite treatment of what LeBron got. Both came in with huge expectations. But LeBron was surrounded by nothing in a franchise that was known for nothing.
Okay, but LeBron's expectations
were way higher.
Were younger,
no, it's very different.
And doubled.
Well, not much younger. It was 1 year younger.
Way higher.
Well, no,
way
but
higher.
But the expectations were with him since high school.
Yes.
Yeah. He came in as a number 2 overall pick in a draft where did Fultz go number 1?
It was
in that
3.
Draft?
It was Fultz, Ball, Tatum. But the premise being, he was drafted into a pretty good organization, has played with star after star after star that they've brought in as guards to be number 1 options when he was younger.
Played
Kemba
with
Walker, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward was supposed to be someone that they brought in for him. Now Porzingis, Drew Holiday. There's all these guys that have been around this young core. And they've made 1 finals thus far. They'll make another finals this year. But consistently
we'll see.
At the end of games, we've seen they've struggled. And he's the de facto closer. And yet, understandably, because he's a great player, this is not me hating on Jayson Tatum. I think he's one of the 5 best players in the league, probably. But it's interesting that he's not really ripped by anybody for not being able to get there, win the championship, when he's been surrounded by great teams for most of his career. Their one hurdle has been the Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, where LeBron was facing the end of a Detroit Pistons dynasty, Wade and Shaq, the big 3 in Boston, and yet he was getting ripped for not winning the big one.
It's the way that they fail, too. It's he goes missing, or he's not very good. And he puts on the Kobe armband. He does have a road game 7 win, and people attribute like that Mamba mentality to that one thing. But this is a bizarre one because he's got a teammate in Jaylen Brown that when this goes south, if it does, and they run into a better team in the NBA Finals, he's got to get the blame. This is not a Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant situation. Jayson Tatum is so much better than Jaylen Brown.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay.
So much better.
Because Jaylen Brown has a $300 million contract, does he not?
That's the NBA.
Yeah.
It's the next man. But he's
Stugotz,
I
you've
think he's
argued
largely
that
getting a
Tatum
pass.
is Kevin Durant, and now you're sitting here saying he's not better than Jaylen Brown? Keep some inventory of your takes, man.
Sharpen the tools.
You're part of the problem.